All right, team, welcome back to Plastic Surgery Untold. Greatest podcast in the world is voted by us. We got our OG crew back in the house today. Felt like this is a perfect way to wrap up the year. So this is a kind of special edition podcast because this is nothing new per se, exciting to come in, but want to recap the best and worst of 2021 and maybe a little bit about what we're looking forward to in 2022. Donald and Travis didn't get the memo. For those of you watching on YouTube or Facebook, I got my Darth Vader Christmas sweater on, and G-berto is looking fine. I'm not going to tell you. You got to check him out online to see this. But
that is a slick.
Before we get in,
bringing the heat.
He is bringing the heat. I'm cooling it off with this sweater.
No, I love that. You've even got the lights, man.
Yeah,
Light show.
Hopefully it's not messing up our YouTube videos with the lights.
Lightsabers going crazy over here.
But before we jump into it, let's do as we usually do. Let's catch up with everybody and see what's going on. Donna, we haven't talked to you in a little bit. I know you've been making a lot of big moves. What's going on?
Yeah, had some fun with the Austin Film Festival. So they invited me out there to speak. And it was one of my first in-person speaking engagements. And it was kind of weird, like sitting in front of actual people speaking. And it went really well, though. So I had a lot of fun. And that's what I've been mostly up to. And then, of course, end of the year in the video games world as well. So I'm like closing out all of this great business and
any new big video games you can let us know about, or isn't that the busy season for you?
Yeah, so Battlefield 2042 came out just a few days ago. So we're working on the mobile counterpart to that, and that will be out TBD. And so, but yeah, we're looking.
Does that mean like 2023?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Sorry for all of you listening. It's gonna be a while.
But yeah, no, we're excited about the Battlefield stuff, and so we got a whole bunch of stuff coming. It's awesome.
Cool. T-Bone, what's going on with you? Finishing out the year strong?
Trying to, man. Couple of cool things. My parents decided to come in this year for Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving at our house, cooked a big meal for that. And then we're actually going out of town for Christmas in New Orleans for the week of Christmas, and then coming back. So that's exciting. And then just still trying to run this business, figure it out, learn how to be a better manager, owner, boss, friend, husband, all of the above. It's a work in progress, but this year has just been drinking through fire hose. It's learning how to run a business, how to manage people, how to deal with certain things as they arise at the business that you can't plan for. You can't try to we're trying to forecast things, but sometimes you just got to roll with the punches. So yeah.
And stuff's been crazy. I mean, stuff's been all over the board. The aesthetic world's definitely been unexpected in a lot of accounts during this pandemic season stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how 2022 rolls in after everything that's gone on.
Absolutely.
G, what's going on with you? Anything new, exciting, fun going on?
So some big changes. Maybe we can allude to now and talk about later.
You want to share with the world your big changes?
Big changes. So I have left the dermatology world and transitioning over to plastics.
Full-time model. Oh.
I'm going to be joining Austin Plastic Surgeon. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, so part-time model, full-time awesome plastic surgeon extraordinaire. So
thank you.
Super excited to have you, and I think nothing but great things and perfect way to start off 2022 just rolling in there. And so we got a lot of exciting stuff as a practice coming in. I think G-berto joining us is absolutely fabulous and complements the Sarahs and just the amount of experiences. I know that we've listened to you guys. I know it's hard to get in sometimes to see us, so this is going to make life a lot better for everybody and easier. So super excited about that. And then there's a few more things that we've got in the works that not quite ready to share with you guys, but super excited for 22. And so coming soon.
So Sarah's going to be training you?
Just like that.
All joking aside, I'm really excited to become a member of the team, and I can't wait to meet all your lovely patients.
Awesome. Well, let's do a little recap to get this started. G-berto, you want to kick us off? Maybe some of your favorite products for 2022? 2021 that came out or that we unveiled this year? I know there was a lot of really cool things that started that you started in your practice and us as well.
So yeah, 2021 was a big year. It seems like it's just flown by, but it's been a big year for aesthetics, in my opinion, for what I do. There was a lot of really great products, innovative products, novel products that came out. Quo was one of them. Mm-hmm. I know it's huge in your practice. It became a big part of my practice as well. But it's kind of been it's a game changer for a lot of people in helping to address, those tough spots on the buttocks with, dimpling and cellulite and stuff. So it's just been really, really amazing.
More people have cellulite than you would ever imagine. And I know in the winter we don't think about it because we're in, sweatpants and sweaters and jackets and stuff like that. But if you're going to do a treatment of Quo or do something to treat that cellulite, this is the time to do it because with Quo, and I won't belabor it because we've talked about it in the past, but it's to be 3 treatments 3 weeks apart. So to do the full set is going to take, about 2-month process to get all the way there. Plus people can get some bruising. So if you're trying to look good for that spring break trip, this is the time to do it. So just maybe keeping that in the back of your mind. If you got a little downtime, this is it.
Yeah. Go in for the winter rebuild, as it were.
Oh. Ooh, yeah.
I like that. The winter reboot.
They can do that while they're waiting for their video game to come out in 2 years.
We know that takes a couple years to load.
I'll get it out earlier.
But I think it's an amazing product. I think one thing people need to realize is that there's no true downtime, but there is some significant bruising that they have to take into account. Mm-hmm. And if you refer back to one of our earlier episodes where we really, dove deep into this topic, where there's a lot of really great information in there that we shared. But yeah, the bruising is real, and so you have to really prepare for that.
But to Johnny's point, this is a great year or a great time of year.
Great time to do it.
Most people are not doing big pool parties and boat parties this season. So exactly. This is the time to do it. Sweatpants season, baby. So
maybe not pumpkin. Oh, I like that. Instead of pumpkin spice season, sweatpants season is Quo season.
Now we're talking.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah. Cool. I do. Like you said, I loved it in our practice. I think it's been great. Doesn't treat skin laxity, but for people that have good skin, great butt, either you've had a BBL, you're thinking about getting one, or you just, been hitting the gym hard and doing New Year, New Me and just want the kind of finishing touches. Our Sarah's described this as like a filter on your butt, just kind of smooths it out just a touch. So I think it's a nice perk.
So you've had really great results with your patients?
We have. I'd say the vast majority of our patients have been super happy, and we're actually trying to publish a few studies on Quo with a few unique things that we do in our practice. So hopefully we'll get those submitted to a few conferences and present in 2022 as well. So
very cool.
Nice stuff to come. Try to share our knowledge with the world.
Yeah, I love it.
Other things is there was a lot of cool injectables that hit the market here. Some have been obviously in process for years, but finally became available to us here in the United States. And not to put all the pressure on you, but do you want to talk about these? Because most of them were new technology in terms of the products themselves and what was unique about them.
Yeah. So, since we're kind of talking about that, let's jump into the RHA line of fillers that came out earlier this year. They launched sometime around like March, April, and it's by a company called Brevance. This line of fillers essentially have taken the filler technology to a whole other level, kind of helping it mimic your own natural hyaluronic acid as closely as possible with a product, basically. And so it integrates into your tissue so much more smoothly, cleanly, nicely. It moves with your tissue more naturally. So, no longer do you have to be concerned about having, facial fillers done and having, areas that kind of stay put when you're speaking, when you're expressing expressing your
stiffness.
face. Yeah. It just really integrates really nicely with the tissue and it just looks more natural overall.
And most people refer this to expression or motion technology because of that flowing. And so I think it's cool. Definitely don't want people to think that it means that we don't use the other products. I think it just gives us more options in what to use because a lot of us do some layering techniques. So some of the stiffer, stronger stuff that do have a good places, they can sometimes kind of support the foundation a little bit stronger, and then using some of these other products more superficial.
Yeah, just more tools in our armamentarium, of fillers. And so yeah, to your point, there are some fillers that are better for more like deep injection targets and structure and some lifting to some degree, and then there are these products which are a little more superficial that just integrate with the superficial fat pads a little bit more nicely and more naturally, and it just, like I said, just leaves a more natural looking outcome.
And Revance isn't the only company that's come out with this. Some of the other product lines have followed suit and have a little bit of this motion. I feel like it's one of the cool things where everybody kind of pushes each other to get better. And so, it keeps moving us forward with newer products. And there's definitely a ton of new products still to come in 2022. So don't think this is it. There's more stuff coming.
Speaking of new products, like I saw on, I think it was on Snap, might have been on Instagram. You got a new laser robot?
Yeah, so something called.
Did you not listen to the last episode?
I was in the middle of something.
He was working on the game.
He was working on the game that'll never be finished.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that game out before 2023.
Yeah, one of the newest and hottest devices for fat reduction is called EON, E-O-N, and this is basically laser technology that helps reduce fat for targeted areas. And so this has been super exciting, something that we brought into our practice about a month ago. It's been pending for a little while to be released. Obviously got a little bit of a slower start with the COVID situation, but I think now we've been super happy within our practice, and I think only more and more things to come. It's just a different technology than there's been out in the past for fat reduction. It's a contactless robot that can actually be programmed for different areas of the body to help reduce fat up to 21 to 25%. So really interesting. Doesn't help skin laxity, but definitely fat reduction. So I think this is super exciting for a lot of people out there.
Where are the areas that you are finding that you're using? I know it's only been a month or so, but
yeah. So you can truly treat anywhere from clavicles down. So there's a lot of options. It's currently approved for the abdomen, but we've used it in a lot of other places. Love handles is definitely a favorite one, especially in men. Upper back, outer thighs, inner thighs. Obviously the abdomen, the up lowers are all areas that can be done. Just really depends, but super flexible to do a lot of areas.
No gooseneck.
No, and remember, neck a lot of times tends to be more of a skin laxity issue than a major fat reduction stuff. Because this is a true laser, got to be a little careful around the eyes and those type of places.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can I circle back to the fillers?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. No. Thank you, Donald, for jumping out of line.
I just wanted to make sure that I included this other filler that came out not too long ago called Contour by Galderma. It's in the Restylane line, and that's also been a bit of a game changer. To your point earlier of how the technology has kind of changed, this one too it takes into account this expression technology is what they call it. That's their little buzzword is expression technology, but it's also more of a superficial filler than it's typically used for like mid cheek volumization and contouring. So hence the name, right? And so it's been a really nice product to work with this past year too. I see a lot more stuff coming out in the future. I've heard about a lot of stuff coming out in the future. It's just pending FDA approval or it's in clinical trials. But I think the future looks really bright for fillers and toxins and things of that nature.
I thought that Galderma has something like 6 or 7 new products scheduled to come out over the next 3 years.
I heard something similar
in that range, and so and some of it has just been a slow process. We've talked about a new toxin coming out in 2022. It's supposed to come out this year, just part of the process. But I'd be surprised if it's not released by sometime in the first quarter of 2022.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just super excited about all this stuff and getting to work with it more, since I'm going to be focusing mainly on cosmetics and aesthetics and not so much more general medicine stuff. So,
Travis, what about any other filler stuff? Because I don't want to download you.
Yeah, exactly. You might have to circle back.
So those were the main ones that came to market in 2021. I think there's, like you said, a lot of stuff that's going to come in 2022. Maybe we can do what's popping in 2022 episode next year, and we can share a little bit more stuff then.
Some preview action, yeah.
What about in the anesthesia world? I mean, I don't know if there's a lot of new stuff, but I know that we really became heavy and really kind of changed our practice a little bit with, and you helped me develop it, but some of the ERAS stuff being very good about in terms of, limiting the amount of narcotics, doing alternative methods in terms of pain control, those type of things.
Totally. And I mean, you guys have heard me ad nauseum over the past couple of years talking about ERAS and enhanced recovery after surgery, and just getting patients kind of fast tracked through that anesthesia process and back to being on their feet and feeling better, more awake, more lucid post-operatively, quicker than they were with previous ways that we were doing things. And this just basically focuses around eliminating narcotic consumption during procedures, meaning that, Dr. Franco or other surgeons are using more local anesthetics to bathe those nerve roots and make patients numb in targeted areas. Then also implementing, pre-surgical medications that we give the day of surgery, and sometimes even a couple of days before, to really help to, decrease nausea, decrease pain with from other routes instead of just giving pain medication or traditional pain medication. And then also, just early ambulation, good fluid resuscitation of these patients. So, doing a lot to really just drive home that point. And then also, working with offices like yours that have just really taken this and realized how beneficial it is for their patients, and helping us implement it on the pre-surgery side.
Don't you think though, and we've dabbled a little bit into it, blocks are going to become more, because it used to be so cumbersome. That was very difficult, and now with new ultrasounds, new techniques, I feel like this is something that's going to carry to the outpatient surgery centers.
That's exactly where I was going with that. This year we actually did a block class for all of our providers at Celebrity, and walked people through basically upper trunk blocks, basically. So we're now able to targetedly, I guess, strategically block the nerves that innervate the breast, nerves that innervate the abdomen, so we can actually take away pain in these areas before they ever have an incision or receive that painful stimuli. So that's been huge. Our providers we're hoping to get that into more offices and into more surgery centers by the end of the year in 2022. But guys like Dr. Franco, buying into it and realizing that there is huge value in giving those pain blockades before.
Early adopter, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, we try.
I like the fact that you're doing things to avoid pain in your practice. That's something that you're gonna have to get up on, right?
I'm gonna have to work on some of that stuff, I guess.
I think all those things are just great, and shows how medicine keeps evolving, and finding a good balance between giving people good care and being safe, and so that's a fine balance for sure.
And you brought up the same point, in the world of fillers, in the world of injectables, like these companies start pushing each other a little bit harder. They create that competition in the marketplace, and in my mind, that only produces better results, right? So if anesthesia is now bringing the thunder, and we're able to implement more blocks, and we're able to decrease pain kind of across the board, other groups are going to start doing that. Other, surgeries, other types of procedures are going to try to do the same thing, which in my mind just makes the outcome better all around.
Are you finding any hesitations from different surgery centers or doctors?
I think the biggest thing is just kind of informing them that it doesn't take as long as people think to do these things. I mean, I can do some of these blocks in 5 minutes per side, and that's with prepping, draping, and doing the ultrasound on those patients and doing the actual injection. So we're looking at potentially adding 10 minutes to a procedure, and if the procedure is a 3-hour procedure, the surgeon's got to be doing that local injection themselves and can't see through the skin to the nerves anyway. So, it's really just trading a 3-minute injection for a 10-minute injection. And that injection is now with me being able to see through the skin.
I think the hardest part is changing cultures, and then there is an initial investment in technology, and then I think getting a good system where you have the same people helping you all the time, because if you don't have a good team, a good routine, then it's not 10 minutes, and so I think a lot of it is just an initial investment and then a process implementation, which for good and bad in the medical world isn't always super fast, and so making sure that it's there's a lot of pre-setup, and I feel like that's where we're at, is in the pre-setup to make sure this is safe, efficient, and worthwhile for everybody, especially in a cash pay system where you're trying not to add a bunch of additional cost to people.
To the patient,
right now, where the world's a little crazy, I think every cent matters, especially if you're trying to buy a house in Austin.
Yes, big time.
Any other treatments, technology, from your guys' standpoints, from a surgery standpoint, I think there's a couple of really cool things pending. We've only scratched the surface of some of the minimally invasive procedures. There's something called MyElevate that just had recently hit the market, and so we're going to be previewing this in 2022. And this is basically a light guided, neck lifting system. And so I think this is super cool. Just to give you a little teaser for something to come soon. I think we've only scratched the surface in terms of some of these like Renuvion, J-Plasma, BodyTite. That technology is only getting better and better, and where and when we can use this, because some of it is even maximizing the technologies we have out there now. And now that we keep getting a better understanding, we can give patients an even better result and more areas to treat with that. So I think those are things that are super exciting.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the next year.
I feel like the minimally invasive surgery stuff, this has been a big thing in general surgery using the robots, the laparoscopic. I think that's going to continue to grow in plastic surgery. No question that the non-invasive has exploded. I think the minimally invasive is too, because that's that fine balance between quicker recovery, less scars, but still giving you more of a result than the non-invasive stuff. So I think it's a nice happy medium where there's a lot of people in that gray area. So MyElevate, J-Plasma, Renuvion, BodyTite, I think there's a lot of cool stuff to come with that. So here in January, February, we'll be talking more about those things.
Definitely agree with that. The other thing, anesthesia, we kind of scratch on use of ultrasound. We do a lot of, ultrasound guided nerve blocks. Then you can also use that ultrasound to evaluate the patient's stomach contents, things like that. And that's more hospital-based anesthesia stuff. But in the cosmetics world, I'm hearing that you guys are starting to use ultrasound for evaluating the face and different planes of the face for filler and things like that. So, we're just scratching the surface of what's going to happen with these technologies and how we're going to use that to just deliver better care. So I'm excited all around.
Yeah, ultrasound came on pretty big in 2021, especially as a method to address complications from fillers.
Sure.
Because now we can see where the filler is placed,
Yep.
and whereas before, if filler was for however reason or whatever got into a vessel and caused an occlusion, you were basically kind of just bathing the area with the enzyme to break down the filler. Now you can actually see where it's at, target it. It requires a lot less, of that same enzyme, and you're getting faster and better results.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Why don't we do something, a little bit fun to wrap up the year, wrap up this session? If you guys don't mind, I'd love to go around the room and maybe tell me one thing that you were most excited about, change something new in your personal life in 2021, and then maybe something that you're looking forward to in 2022. I think that'd be kind of fun just to end the year off right and roll us into 22. Anybody want to kick us off?
I'll do it.
All right.
Yeah, man. So I think the biggest thing for me is I completed my divorce. So that was a good thing, I think, getting that chapter closed and moving on to the next.
It's almost a hard transition, no matter what situation, but it sounds like you come out the other end.
Yep. And then, so that was like, the I think one of the biggest life changes. And then some other big things that happened was I went to your practice. I got some exosomes injected into my head, which is, I guess it's like one of those things, right? You get the divorce and you're like, yo, I want to look good. I want to reinvest into myself.
That's right.
And it was quite the experience. It was, going back there.
So new hair is what you're looking forward to 2022.
Big time. Big time. It's huge. And so it wasn't too painful at all. And yeah, it's kind of cool being in the med spa, man. That's and I'm not saying it like to try and sell anything. I know everybody's like, oh,
He's got a decent setup over there, is what you're saying?
Dude, it was pretty cool. Like, Sarah Mac did not hurt me at all, and it was like nice and relaxing. The chair was all like, laid back and had the TV going. It was great. Awesome. It was great, man. You're gonna have fun there.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
And what about? Are you doing anything with South by Southwest this year, or where's that?
Yeah, so
that was exciting a couple of years ago.
Yeah, currently, actually, they invited me to be an advisor this year. So, which is weird because I'm an advisor and I get to help pick what speeches and what events are going to happen at South by, but I can't vote on mine. And I'm just like, what shit? Let's go ahead and push that one through.
Use your influence on your on your colleagues.
Exactly. Oh, trust me, I'm leaning. but yeah, no, I hope, knock on wood, that we continue to keep COVID under control. I actually just got my booster shot, so please, everyone, go get your booster shot. It's open. But I do have some tentative plans to head out to Germany for Gamescom, South by, and then over to California for I can't even remember the name of the conference. There's a couple conferences in California that I'm looking to hit and speak at. So
sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Well,
awesome,
lots of things
Big
coming.
moves.
Exciting.
Big moves.
Gotta keep going.
T-Bone, what about you?
I mean, this past year has it's kind of been a whirlwind. It's been a little bit of a blur. My partner and I started our anesthesia group in January 1 officially, and I feel like we have just been holding on for dear life since. It's been busy. It's been good. Learned a lot through this first year. Ups, downs, late nights, early mornings, all of the above. It's funny, I told my wife the other day, I now work less, but work way more, and she gets that. There are some days where I'm only in the OR for 3 or 4 hours, but then I've got 10 plus hours of work outside of that. But it's cool. We're starting to see some progress. We're starting to really some exciting stuff's happening. So really excited about that. I ran my first half marathon this year, so I got to train for that and saw that to fruition. And it was crazy. I crossed the finish line, and it was the first time in a long time that I've had that real sense of accomplishment. I mean, G's run a couple of big events, and I hadn't had that feeling of shit, I just did something really cool in that I put my mind to it and I came out on the other side and accomplished my goal. I hadn't had that feeling since I got done with grad school or undergrad or, some big, project came to a head. So that was super neat. Just talked to my running lifting coach, and we've got some stuff planned for this coming year. I'm going to run a couple of 5 and 10Ks through the end of winter and the spring. Then I'm going to run another half marathon, I think, at the beginning of summer. So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
exciting, man.
Yeah, exciting
Right
stuff.
Yeah.
What are you looking most forward to besides the sprints?
Honestly, I am looking forward to getting the business, a little bit more automated, hiring some more people. I think we're going to start hiring some front office staff here in 2022. That'll take a little bit of some of the day-to-day stuff off my plate, which will be very exciting. And then just helping my wife grow her business. And, we've kind of completely changed our minds, and we're now both full-on entrepreneurs and running these businesses. So very cool.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
G, what about you?
Well,
something you're most excited about, and then what you're looking forward to?
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. What I'm most excited about is transitioning into what I feel is my true passion in life, what I really love doing, which is aesthetic medicine.
Making the world a more beautiful place?
Just one person at a time.
Trying to catch up with you, man.
But no, in all honesty, I mean, that is what I love doing. I really enjoy working with my patients, helping them reach their aesthetic goals, making them feel better about themselves. And I feel like if I can have just a small impact on their lives, then it's fulfilling for me. So that's what I'm really grateful for this year is this transition and the opportunity to come work for you. And so, yeah. And then with regards to what I'm most excited for 2022 is working my ass off for you and helping you bring best of the best for the med spa.
Awesome. Yeah, no, we got to. We got shut down in the med spa the last 2 years, but I think you're gonna put an end to that.
Yeah,
No,
that's my goal. My goal for 2022 is get best of the best plastic surgeon and for you, and best of the best med spa.
Boom.
There it is.
So, threw down the gauntlet right now. I like
Got my
it.
vote.
Yeah.
What about you, big dog?
Yeah, no, I think the most exciting thing, definitely from a business standpoint, is I feel like we've really exploded. We've in terms of adding injectors. We added Dr. Weinfeld, as a plastic surgeon this year. Our 2 Sarahs, I think, have just evolved and exploded as well. And then to finish the year out with the G joining us, I don't think we could have asked for anything better. So that's super exciting for me, and I think it's just opening the door for us to start. Not quite ready to talk about it yet, but I feel like there's a couple big expansion projects that are in the works right now that are really, really close. And so got about 2 or 3 projects that hopefully here in the next 2 or 3 months we'll be able to talk about that I think will really take our practice and overall to the next level in terms of being able to offer patients a lot of options and lots of cool things. So that's what I'm super excited about.
Right on, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's the first steps of world domination.
Yeah, we're working on it.
You can't take over the world all in one night.
Well, you got the laser robot.
That was the first
one.
step.
Laser. What quote of the day? Anything good quotes to
I got
finish it
one.
off? Okay, let's
got
do
one.
it.
off, man.
All right.
Let me pull this up.
Take
real
us
quick.
out in style.
My phone flipped. There we go.
You guys got to see what G is wearing. The guy is just. I'm jealous.
Dapper Dan over here.
Well, I thought I'd feel a little festive with the holidays
I
and
like
all,
it.
and so
I
I
love
thought I
that.
brought out this like really, really cool jacket. So this is by Rainer Maria Rilke. It says, "And now we welcome the new year, full of things that have never been."
Boom. Yeah.
Love that.
I feel like that's all of us. I think there's so many
Yeah.
new things, so much expansion forward, just moving. So love it.
Yeah.
Pretty fitting to start off the new year.
Absolutely.
Killing it.
Guys, I appreciate you guys over the last couple years of this podcast. I think it's been absolutely amazing. I'm glad we've been able to continue it. We get a lot of positive feedback in the office, so appreciate you guys spending your weekends and time. These guys give up their Sundays typically to come and hang out and share their knowledge with all of you. So thank you guys from me.
Thank you guys
having
for
us, man.
listening.
Yeah, no, without our listeners, this wouldn't even be a
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Can you
thank
believe that
thank you.
we've been doing this for 2 years now?
2
wild.
years.
It's wild. In the past 6 months, I've had at least 4 patients go, "Wait a second, are you on the plastic surgery podcast?"
awesome.
And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And you're like, "Yeah, I thought your voice sounded familiar." I'm like, "That is so cool." So if you're out there and I'm about to put you to sleep, let me know that you listen.
Boom, that's what I'm talking about.
So season 3 coming in 2022.
Season 3
There
coming.
it is.
Yeah, no way. We can't stop this freight train.
Coming in
right.
hot.
I love it.
Well,
Cue
like
the music.
I'd like to thank all of you that listen. We truly, truly appreciate you
Yes.
from all of us. Feel free to download us wherever you get your favorite podcast, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify. And then you can also watch us on YouTube because you got to see G-berto. He's looking good every day. And then now you can actually catch us on Facebook and see clips of our podcast. So super exciting to bring that all to you guys. Greatest podcast in the world is voted by us, Plastic Surgery Untold. Thank you guys. We'll see you.
See ya.
Boom.